guys? Welcome back to the channel. My name is Xbot. Hope you're doing absolutely wonderful today. Click the thumbs up button if you guys are hyped that Modern Warfare is now back. We're bringing you the best settings to use right here, day one on the launch day of Call of Duty Modern Warfare. First off, I want to give a quick apology because I sound a little hoarse. I started getting sick. Terrible timing for that on launch day, but we still got content coming for you guys. I'll redo this video probably later on because you probably hate me for that. Without saying too much more, we're going to jump into these settings. I've played early content, the early reveal back in like August. I've played the beta, the 2v2 gunfight, the multiplayer beta, 2 weekends of it. And I also participated in the secret recording that just went on last week. So I want to share with you guys the best settings that you guys are going to be able to use, because some of them have changed up a little bit since the beta. So people are going to have videos out from the beta. There's things that are different now. Definitely put these settings to use because it's going to allow you to take your gameplay to the next level. It's going to allow your gameplay to look a little bit better, and you're going to have the best experience that you can possibly have in Modern Warfare. So first off, we're going to run through some of the basic settings as far as the controller goes. Just throwing it out there, I do use a SCUF gaming controller whenever I play. So I already have a custom controller that you know, is widely used in the Call of Duty community, but I have paddles on the back of my controller that allows me to like jump and slide. You know, it takes place of some of my buttons up top. So I still use a default preset, where some of you might use tactical or something like that. I'm still able to use a default preset, keep my buttons, you know, just set to default, and use these paddles to be able to allow different types of movement. I can jump, you know, from up underneath my controller and stuff like that. So obviously we have the button layout that's going to be default. My stick preset's still going to be default. My inverted look, I have disabled. I don't play inverted, but do any of you guys play inverted? I always like am mind blown by that. Let me know down in the comments if any of you guys play inverted whenever you play with a controller, or if you're on a PC, if you play with mouse inverted. That's crazy to think. My horizontal stick sensitivity is set to 8. My vertical is set to 7. It's a little bit higher than what I was using in Call of Duty Black Ops 4, but whenever I was playing the beta, whenever I was playing at these capture events, 8 and 7 felt nice. I felt like I could, you know, move around quick enough to be able to aim down sight and pick up kills pretty quick. Like I said a little bit higher than what I usually did. So if you're struggling, try going up a little bit higher to see if that might help you out. See if that might get you squared away. I'm keeping the aim down sight sensitivities for low zoom and high zoom set to 1 right now. I believe a lot of that might come to whenever you're aiming down sight, as far as like sniper rifles and stuff like that. Maybe even whenever you're looking down at a red dot. But I'm going to leave that to default. I don't think that's something that needs to be changed unless you're someone that like snipes a lot. You spend a lot of time aiming down sight. For now, leaving it set to default. If anything changes, I'll be sure to let you guys know. I have my aim response curve type set to standard. Controller vibration I have disabled because I used to always play off of using vibration enabled, right? Like I would like to have my controller vibrating whenever I was shooting people, whenever I was pulling the trigger. And I felt like once I disabled it, I stopped relying on the muscle memory to know whenever I picked up a kill. I'm paying attention to what's going on. I know whenever I take someone out, and it allows me to have a little bit more accurate shot because I don't got to worry about my controller vibrating in my hand while I'm trying to be accurate and have the most accurate shot possible. You guys will know that like whenever I set these settings and I make my class setups, I always focus on having an accurate shot, because I feel like if you have an accurate shot and you have good map awareness, you're going to take your gameplay to the next level. It's something that's really going to help you out. You don't want to be missing bullets whenever you're aiming at someone, you know? So always have a goal to have the most accurate shot possible. Aim assist is set to standard. Weapon mount activation, aim down sight, or melee. It's going to determine what's going to allow you to be able to basically mount your weapon if you're in a position where you're kind of like set up and you want to wait for the enemy to come or something like that. Don't do that. I have set my weapon mount movement exit to disabled. So basically once you're already mounted in that position, I have it set to like whenever you release aiming down sight, you're automatically going to be off the wall. I like that because if I'm ready to move, if I'm ready to run, as soon as I stop aiming down sight, I'm off the wall and I'm going to the next thing. I have my aim down sight behavior set to hold. That's the traditional Call of Duty feel. Whenever I press my left trigger and hold it in, that's what's going to aim down sight. Whenever I release it, it's going to let it go. This here is set to, this other option is toggle. So I would press it once and stay aim down sight, and you can press it again and then it would go away, you know. Definitely want that traditional Call of Duty feel. I'm leaving that to hold. Same thing with equipment behavior. I want to press and hold it if I want to like cook a grenade or something like that. Hold is going to be the traditional feel that you guys want to play if you've played Call of Duty for a long time. For use or reload behavior, I just want to be able to just tap the button to be able to reload whenever it's time for me to reload. I don't want to have to be doing a bunch of different things. Whenever the reload comes, time to go, I just want to be able to tap my button and roll. Depleted ammo switch, I leave that set to enabled. That's default. Basically, once you're shooting a weapon, you run out of ammo, it's automatically going to switch to like your pistol or something to pull that out so you can still have a chance of picking up a kill versus you not having any ammo at all. Slide behavior is set to hold. Like I said, I do use the scuff controller, so like this button here is actually going to be my slide button, whereas that would be your circle if you're playing on PS4 or your B if you're playing on Xbox. Once you press and hold that though, that's going to cause you to slide. I don't want it to be tap. I don't want to just tap and slide. I want to press and hold it. I want to be able to give that signal that yes, I'm trying to slide, not just accidentally bump it and slide, because that might put you in some really awkward situations. Some of the general settings we're going to cover now. A lot of this is going to be some of your video and whatnot. Guys, I got a bunch of questions asking why my gameplay looks so good during the beta, and it was because of these settings that I was using, okay? Like, I'm not trying to toot my own horn. People liked the way my game looked during the beta, and I believe I had a nice little crisp setup here. So I have my brightness set up to just 49%, and obviously you set your safe area whenever you launch the game. You've already done that. My film grain is going to be set to 0.5. Tooltips is just going to allow you to be able to have basically tips pop up on the screen. Subtitles, language, that's pretty self-explanatory. But colorblind target or colorblind type. Alright, so colorblind type I have set to Tritanopia. They have all these different settings right here, right? Like, this is what's going to change up some of my colors a little bit. So this is disabled. You know, that's what it looks like. As you can see, kind of like just off the side of my camera just a little bit. But as you go through these different options, you see it changes up just a little bit, right? Tritanopia gives you kind of a more vibrant color scheme, you know? And that's what I'm liking. Like, I'm not colorblind. You know, you don't have to be colorblind to use these, but I feel like this gives you more visual satisfaction in my opinion. If you haven't tried it, try it out. Let me know what you think. Colorblind target is going to be set to interface. These next two options are going to be huge, right? And I'm actually going to disable my camera so you can see. So as you can see for the two options here, for world motion blur, on the left you have it disabled. On the right you have it enabled. On the right, you can see the person's like looking from right to left. They're moving, right? And in that world motion blur, whenever you have it enabled, see how the house and everything in the background is blurry, and it'll be like that until you kind of like slow your movement down until you go to like really focus on a certain area, right? I cannot stand that. If a guy is in that right building, if he's in one of those two windows versus in the left picture, you might miss him if it's blurry, right? But if you disable world motion blur and you're moving right to left, all of this will be as crisp as possible, and you might have a better chance to spot your enemies. I do not want to use world motion blur, and the same thing happens here with the weapon motion blur. As you can see, on the right is with it enabled, on the left is when it's disabled. On the right, you can see the weapon is blurry whenever you're moving from side to side. Whenever you're making these different movements around, it's going to add weapon blur effects for your visual input. I don't want that. I want everything to look as good as possible. I don't want any world motion blur on. I don't want any weapon motion blur on. I want my video to look good. I don't want to miss anything at all. I would highly recommend disabling both of those. Text chat, that's the chat that you can use whenever you can like text people like in pregame lobbies and stuff like that. I have that enabled. We'll see what people say. I think it might be funny to kind of see. But I do have my profanity filter enabled as well, so it'll kind of censor some of that stuff, especially whenever I'm recording videos or if I'm live streaming. I don't want a bunch of crazy stuff up on the screen. I want to try to take care of that as much as possible and try to stay pretty family friendly for the most part. As for the audio, I left most of this pretty standard. I'll let you guys know if I do end up changing something, but I went with home theater for the audio mix. My master volume is set to 100. You know, it's just your overall volume. I bumped the music volume down just a tad. Not something that I feel like is super important, especially while in game. I bumped the dialogue volume down just a tad. That'll be like in game your character's calling out things, you know. I bumped that down just a tad, and I left my sound effects volumes at 100 as well, because I want to be able to just take in as much as I can from what's actually going on in the game, not what's going on around me a lot. You know, like I want to be able to take in what I hear, what I'm picking up on with my awareness. You know, that's my main focus whenever I'm playing. Juggernaut music is going to be enabled. I want to have the hit marker sound effects set to Modern Warfare, but you can change the way your hit markers sound. You can change it back to classic or none at all. I want the Modern Warfare feel. It's a new game. The developers have worked on the audio in this game. I'm going to use what they put in. Some of the rest of the settings are just your mic settings and, you know, basically voice chat. The opening mic threshold, I left that to default. Voice chat volume 100%, microphone volume 100%. my mute strategy right now, I have everyone unmuted unless that gets too crazy. So that's basically what we're going to be using for our settings here in Call of Duty Modern Warfare. Like I said, let me know down in the comments if any of you guys use something different. I want to know if you guys, what you guys think about the Tritonopia, and if you happen to play inverted on any platform that you play on. So let me know down in the comments. Thank you guys so much for checking out this video. If you watch this entire thing, please click the thumbs up button and leave a like. Be sure to subscribe if you're new to the channel. It's going to be an important year for Call of Duty Modern Warfare, and I'm excited to be able to bring you guys content throughout this entire year. Thanks again. I'll see you guys next time.
I can't lose, I'ma pass through if I have to. Teach them all like a classroom, huh? If I want it, then I get it. Work hard, don't regret it, yeah, I said it, huh? Head down, I'm focused, you know this. They know this, show this, mind blowing. Keep going, showing, I'm growing, flowing and coasting. I'm owning, work hard, play hard, let the party start. Can't lose when I'm giving out bars.